Hello there, Facebook friends
Hi,
and
everybody.
friends wherever you catch this. Sonica and Christian with the LoveWorks Solution. We're glad to be back with you. We are on day, I don't even know what, of, of the new world where we're all staying at home a whole bunch more.
One of the things that is common actually in life, and it's happening for a lot of us these days as well, which is we have a tendency to drift through our days, and even more so with this whole coronavirus. I don't know about you, but I was a bit in a fog for the first several days. And one of the tools that we want to give you today is something Christian and I use a lot in our lives to kind of support us to stay on target, to stay creating what we want to create instead of drifting by default into something that doesn't feel good to us.
Yeah, no, and as Sonica said, this is always the case, and we often coach both couples and singles about this, and we coach ourselves around it all the time. But in these times where our daily routines are so upended, and our relationships, maybe if we're compressed, everybody in one house are under more duress. Our minds are kind of our biggest enemies. Maybe next to the coronavirus itself, our minds can become our biggest enemies because I mean, it's just so easy to have so many thoughts and feelings swirling in here. And what are we going to do? And what are we going to do? And another thing, we talked about on one of the other broadcasts we did here, it's easy to also just, hey, it's just a matter, we should just pass this time. If we could just get through it. And, so we watch a ton of series and watch a ton of news and scroll a ton of Facebook and Instagram. And, all those are great distractions and pastimes. But if that becomes the dominant thing we put in here and that we use our minds for, we what happens is exactly what Sonica just said. We just end up drifting.
And not feeling so great about ourselves, actually.
And then afterwards, we look back after a week or a month or 3 months. Then we look back and often don't like what happened. We're like, what did I even do the last month? Or, as you couples who often come to us, they're like, hey, what did we even do the last 10 years? This is not where we thought we were going to be.
So, the tool that we want to offer actually, we call it our purpose and intended results. And basically, what that means is that you sit down with yourself, or if you're in a partnership, you could do it with your partner, and sit down and list out what your intended results are for this particular period of time.
And
And
let's just say it's the next 3 months.
And you can have as part of your intended results what you want to experience, what you want to feel, and you can also include in your intended results specific goals that you want to accomplish during this time period.
Yeah, so Sonic and I, we're already keeping this process going for ourselves. It's one of the ways we use to keep our minds in a good place, to get more productive, and to make sure that we accomplish something useful that we'll feel good about when this is all said and done.
So I'll just give some examples of some intended results that I set for myself during this time period. One is our kitty is dying. I don't know if for those of you who are watching Facebook, our kitty's on her last days, and one of my intended results is really to take care of her and spend quality time with her as much as possible in every day, because I don't know how much time she's got here left.
Yeah.
It's one of my intended results. Another intended result I have is to reach out and connect with at least 5 people every day and just look for where I can make a difference, where I can offer support and compassion for what people are experiencing, just looking for where I can make a difference.
Yeah, some of the examples I have is, some of the intended results I want to have is I do Tai Chi as a practice. So to do that or my Pilates or yoga every day during this time. One of my intended results is I have this project outside down the hill. We live out in the country where there's a bunch of shrubbery that needs to be cleared out. So every day or at least several times a week, I bite away at that. That's one of my intentions. It's one of my intentions for us, that we connect and that we take time to be with each other and we don't get just consumed in all the stuff we could get consumed in.
Yeah, that's one of our intended results, to stay in our hearts, not get caught up in our heads and into doing, but take time to really be.
Yeah, Sonica presented a really good one the other day, which actually came out on the heels of us
Doing it if you really knew me.
Yeah, doing it if you really knew me, and also of us being kind of scatterbrained and all over the place. And I shared that in an earlier broadcast. I was just finding myself just taking action without it really being connected to my heart and to what I'm wanting to create. And, Sonica was really great at saying, hey, let's just slow down and make sure we're connected. So one of our intentions came from that contribution from Sonica. We want to take action that is connected and that feels good.
One of our intentions is to do this Facebook Live every day at 1 o'clock and come up with something to give you that you can use to improve your experience during this time.
Yeah, the broader intention behind that is for us to serve and be useful, try our best to be some of the helpers instead of panic mongers or worriers. So for starters, and you can do this too, for starters, when we made a commitment to do a Facebook Live every day at 1, we did it for a week for starters. So that's until, I don't even know what, next Wednesday at this point. And then we'll renegotiate. I have a feeling we'll keep doing it. But that's a good way to get started with something small and practical.
Another couple of intended results for us is to get our garden in and get all the weeding done in the yard.
Wouldn't that be great? It's only March.
Another couple of intended results I have too is to practice piano every single day, to make sure I do something with my body, some kind of exercise, getting out and doing a walk, doing my 5 rights, doing that every day. And another intention that I set for myself as well is to work on our book every day. It would be so awesome to get our book done in these next 3 months. So that's another intended result that we've set.
Another result I've wanted to produce is to set us up. You can't see this, of course, but we're in a studio now. There's various kinds of microphones and gear around us. So I've been testing that out. So that's been one of my results is I want us to be able to connect with you out there, with the world, because who knows how long we're going to be here. We might have to use this as a primary means. It definitely is right now our primary means of reaching out.
And I'll say one last intended result that I have as well is just to be more vulnerable and real about what I'm experiencing. And as I reach out to people, to just be more real about what my experience is. And what's great when you set these intended results for yourself, it provides a roadmap for what to do and where to direct your attention and for what you want to produce and create. And again, you can include feeling experiences in your intended results as well as specific goals that you'd like to complete.
Yeah, it's my intention to be completely at ease and to stay calm and out of panic and to just keep my equilibrium. That is one of my intentions. And I'm seeing some great ideas on the comments about just, hey, we just got our bikes out, or it's really important for us to be outside and do things. And I want to say one last thing. You notice we call this process a purpose and intended results. What we've been sharing here are examples of intended results. Those are sort of the sub-bullets we would like to see happen. We recommend you don't get too attached to it happening exactly like that. Be a little flexible around it. Once you have a good list of intended results, then go back and look at what's the overarching purpose of the whole thing. Yeah, what's most important in all of this?
So one of our purpose includes being a contribution and a beacon of light to other people during this time, and to be exemplary role models of what's possible for what we can create as human beings during this time.
Yeah, I'm very much on the same page. And by the way, when you're doing this as a couple, you don't have to have the same one to start with. Just keep massaging it a little, and you'll probably be able to meet in one, because it's really powerful if you can align both of you on one purpose. And I'm totally on board with that. And I might add, just to stay connected, to stay connected. And I both mean with you, with our friends and family, with our kids, with each other,
and
with myself. Stay connected. That means not lose myself.
So we encourage you to take time to do that. Sit down with yourself, with a partner if you like, with a friend, and just go through what would you like to create during this time? What are your intentions? And then once you get all those listed out, come up with an overarching purpose that you can write up to keep you focused. during this time.
And one more thing I'll say about it is when you have an overarching purpose that you can really get behind, like stay connected, be a contribution, for example, then that helps you, because there are going to be lots of times during the day, during the weeks, where you're not feeling like that, where the actions you take aren't really that, where you get into it with each other over stupid, irrelevant stuff that's not really that important. In those times, it can really help you center back if you can remember that overarching purpose and say, hang on a second, I know we're arguing about the dishes right now or whatever. Really, the purpose for us for this time is to stay connected, is to be a contribution. Okay, that's not exactly what we're doing right now. How do we realign to that? So it could just help you remember what's important and kind of look towards the distance as opposed to just look at your feet as you shuffle from one hole to the next.
Yeah, you could also add in stuff, which we sort of have always working intentions as well, that we make love regularly, that we make sure we have time to really connect with each other, drop down. So feel free to include some specific intimacy stuff as well.
Yeah, and if you have great ideas for what your intentions are, feel free to share them in the comments. And if you have questions that pertains to life or relationship in particular, feel free to shoot them over to us. You can either private message us or put it in a comment somewhere.
Yeah, and if you need support, like I said, we've got an intention to reach out to 5 people. If you need support, you might be one of those 5 people. So feel free to reach out to us if you're needing any kind of emotional support.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific time. Until then, take really good care of yourself and each other.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.